So Mike Mulhern, right?
Right.
When you initially were approached by him, you sent something from that first contact, and then he kept like showing up as like a bad penny, as you said.
Yeah.
And so at some point you reached out to Sonny, and you asked him about this guy.
I did.
And Sonny gave you
He gave him high
I don't know what you
marks.
can.
He gave Mike Mulhern high marks.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he said you can trust this guy with your life, man. And he's a top ranked guy in Miami. I was friends with a gentleman named Mike Mulhern. Mike Eisen. And he was one of the top tier guys in the Mexican mafia. He was a personal friend of mine. His name is, they used to call him Hacha, the Hatchet. And he was a little guy, part Mexican, part Filipino, but he was a heavyweight in the Mexican mafia. And
I'm familiar.
Okay, I was friends with Mike Eisen, and when Mulhern came to me, he goes, my buddy, my homeboy, Acha, and that kind of got my attention. It was also interesting as Doug the Thug had just died in prison, and nobody knew about it. We were keeping it under wraps. Doug the Thug was a very powerful, kind of a legend not only in prison but on the streets. Powerful Hell's Angel, real dangerous guy, and he said, "That's too bad about Doug." And that when he said that, I go, "Well, this guy got to be in the know." I didn't think that he was a Fed, but like you use the term coming around like a bad penny. There's a tape of me, and at the end of the tape, Mike's harping on me about killing this guy. And I make some cavalier statements that I don't remember exactly what it was I shouldn't have made. I think I said I'd kill him myself if he was here. I was so exasperated. But at the end of the tape, as Mike walks away, that goddamn FBI bug was so good, you can hear me on the tape saying thanks for nothing. Because he was just frustrating me. It was like, you want to kill this guy, go kill him, man. Don't keep coming to me. You want me to clear your conscience. I don't know what's going on here. But it was probably one of my stupider moments, if you will. If I'm willing to cop to anything of stupidity, that was stupidity at its finest.
Right. What was the Dirty Tricks campaign?
With the feds?
Yeah, where your mom got accused of jury tampering.
Well,
your wife,
my mom got accused. It started in 1986, and it continued even up into the 2001 case. My mom got accused of jury tampering. She rode in the elevator with one of the jurors. They never even said anything to each other. But the Fed said my mom was like pressuring her to find me not guilty. And they actually kicked her off the jury and brought in one of the alternate jurors. And then again, my poor mom. Then again, in 2001, they raided her house. And now my mom's a gambler. My dad's dead now. He's been dead about 7-8 years. And my mom goes up to the Chumash Casino. If she's not at Chumash Casino, she's going to Vegas and she's gambling. And she got $15,000 cash that she had hidden in her mattress. And the cops raid my pad. They find her money and they confiscate it. So she goes to court. And she just reams the judge. She tells the judge, she goes, "I won that money fair and square, Your Honor, and I want every damn penny back." And, the judge gave it back to her. He says,
"Oh, really?"
He goes, "I'm going to give you your money back, Mrs. Christie. I don't want no problems with you." But, that was some of the dirty tricks. They also sent a guy that said he escaped from prison. He went to the door. He said, "George sent me here."
Because you were in prison.
I was
You were in
prison
contact with this
because
guy
I
in prison.
escaped. George sent me here. You're supposed to give me a car, some money, and a gun. Now, if she'd have done anything, she would have been an accessory to a prison escape, and they could have used her as a bargaining chip to get me. And I'll tell you how I found out he was working for the feds. She told him to go to hell. She didn't know what he was talking about. She's a pretty sharp girl. This is my childhood, high school.
Your first
sweetheart.
wife, Cheryl,
my first
right?
wife, Cheryl. And she tells him to go to hell. She don't know what he's talking about. So when I come home, I call the Bureau of Prisons, and I ask. I know this guy's name, and I know his prison number. And I asked the Bureau of Prisons, I said, yeah, I'm looking to subpoena Mr. So-and-so, prison number, da, 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 da. And they said to me, oh, he's on a writ with the marshals. The marshals had taken him out, and he was in like the witness protection, and they like gave it up by accident right over the phone to me. So I knew he was definitely working with the cops, and he called me. And I told him, I said, you dirty motherfucker. I said, I know you're working with the cops. You're out on a writ with the marshals. And, of course, oh, no, George, man, that's a bum wire. You heard that before. That's a bum wire, And I just said, no, man, you ain't no good. And I go, don't call me no more. So, they're up to their dirty tricks. You know how they operate.
Yeah, yes, indeed. I created a publication back in 2000 called Don Diva, and it featured the high-profile underworld figures from the black and brown communities, largely, a couple of mob guys as well. But the primary purpose of that publication was to use what the youth were so attracted to, which was, the whole romanticized outlaw life by way of hip hop, which is how most of them got even exposed to it, and then to incorporate things like the mandatory minimum sentencing guidelines, that most people had never heard of, even though they were throwing bricks at the penitentiary every damn day. Right. So that was the vehicle that I used to put that type of information out there about what was going on behind the goings ons,
And
So
how did that make you a big target?
I mean, I stayed in motion, but they were very, very hip to me. I was all over the country all the time. But they were very, very hip to me. I had cops stop me in different places. I had a van that had all our signage and stuff on it. So, they knew the magazine, and the cop stopped me in Baltimore one time, and he was like, "Oh man, I love this magazine. They use this in my FBI training class." Right. So the cops were very hip to it all across the country.
Now, did you use just your magazine and your writing, or did you do any music?
No, just the magazine.
Magazine.
Yep. Yep.
And did you get the support of some rap people, or
everybody?
Everybody, huh?
Everybody. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah.
It's Chuck D lives in Ventura.
Really?
Yeah. His wife is a professor, I think, at UCSB. And, I've run into him a couple times. I've always wanted to talk to him, but, I don't like to impose on people. But there's somebody
that would be an awesome conversation.
What's that?
That would be an awesome conversation.
Yeah, it really would be. I think that guy's really on top of it. And I think that he looked very friendly to me. And last time I saw him, I almost approached him, but he was having dinner with his family. I didn't want to bother him. Mm-hmm. But one of these days, I'm gonna have to get at him, man.
Yeah, he'll most likely see this. So this might be the seed. Yeah, this might be the seed.
Yeah, I'd love to get him as a guest, man. On my show, he's had a lot to say for a long time.
Yeah, and he said a lot of things that took a lot of people decades to kind of get their minds wrapped around.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes. Sometimes it's a lonely walk by yourself till people catch up.
Yes, it is. Yeah, lonely walk in the light.
It is.
So after you won that trial, did you guys really throw a big party for the jurors that acquitted you?
Well, my lawyer, we explored it, and we found there was no law to throwing a party for the jurors. So we threw a big party for the jurors. About, I'd say, half or over half showed up. We had a big barbecue at the Clubhouse, and I was Mickey Rourke and I. He was at the top of his game acting at the time, and him and I were on the front page of one of the sections of the L.A. Times. They had interviewed the jurors. Did you ever know that this guy was way ahead of the curve on cage fighting? Benny Uritas, you ever heard of him?
I've heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, he's one of the original backyard street fighter guys. You know, he showed up and had some other actors show up, and it was kind of my way of telling the feds, how do you like me now?
Oh yeah, yeah. You definitely like to you like to fuck with them.
I do, and it's cost me.
Yeah, I bet it has.
It's got a tax.
So you mentioned your friend Irish earlier, and how he was stabbed in the back and the neck and all that stuff by an Aryan Brotherhood member, right?
Right.
And this was interesting to me. So he gets stabbed in the back and the neck and the shoulder, and so he's stabbed. He's probably ultimately mortally wounded, in this at this point. And he says to the guy who stabbed him, "Is that all you got?" And the guy pulls out a pistol and shoots him 4 times.
That's a fact. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's interesting. We had a meeting set up with the AB, and I was supposed to go to that meeting, and at the last minute, there was some things shifted, and I really got angry. I didn't get to go, and I felt it was a meeting for several people to attend, and it wound up with just Sonny and the head of the AB at that time meeting by themselves, which I didn't think was appropriate. I met with the banditos, I met with the outlaws, I met with the Mongols. Anytime I met with any type of adversary or someone that we had a problem with, I always had a witness with me. So I had somebody that would, confirm, yeah, that's what happened. And I told Sonny when he left the meeting, I go, this is not appropriate, man. I go, you're going to go negotiate? I go, I want to see what that guy, why did these guys kill him? It doesn't make sense. Irish got along with those guys, and Irish partied hard, and there were a lot of people afraid of him. I mean, he was, as a street fighter, he really had a reputation. Sandy Alexander was a professional boxer from New York, and Big Vinny was probably one of the toughest guys in the New York Charter, and Irish dispatched him with no effort whatsoever. Vinny's just big, which you'd think would be in the dictionary. You look up Hell's Angels, you see Vinny's picture there. But, Irish outboxed him, and he went home and complained to New York that he got jumped by the Oakland guys. And Sandy got mad. Sandy called me and said, what the hell, you're jumping my guys in Oakland? I said, man, it never happened like that. Sandy got on a plane, came out, him and Irish got in a fight. Within 2 or 3 minutes of the fight, Sandy goes, I believe you, man. You kicked his ass. Because Sandy was a professional fighter. Irish knocked Sandy down. And Irish got knocked down, but Sandy got knocked down too. So they just said, okay, I believe that's what happened. But Irish was, it was legendary as a street fighter. And, it could have been as simple, you talk about paranoia and wondering what's really going on, and that's one thing, I've tried to keep my emotions out of it, and I use my logic on it, in intellect instead of my emotions. But that's one that I'm still trying to figure out, why was Irish killed? It doesn't make any sense. Was that guy just scared of him? Was they partying too hard? But, I'm putting a chapter about it in my new book. I'm doing a lot of research, and I'm doing a lot of soul searching. I may not have the factual answer, but I am going to write about it, and I'm going to put in there if it's speculation or what I think happened. I don't want to misrepresent myself. You know what it's like. You're a writer. You want to write the truth.
That's facts.
But,
that's right. 'Cause those words are going to last longer than you.
Yeah, but it's. Man, it's like, I don't know. It was a tough time for me because Irish and I weren't getting along. Relationships in a outlaw type of environment, ebb and flow, and
Yes.
we weren't getting along at the time. And I'll get a little sentimental with you here. I was really upset when he got killed because him and I were very, very close at one time. We were both Los Angeles Hells Angels. And he came to me shortly after his death in a dream. And basically in the dream told me everything's cool. And that was the last time I dreamt about him, but I think it's time to, I want to settle that, and people ask me, people write me all the time, you know what it's like as a writer, if you're exposing yourself, put yourself out there, especially on social media. I have people write me and, I try to answer everybody. And that's one of the questions people ask me. They go, what happened to Irish? And I'm not sure I'm going to have a concrete answer, but I want to put something out there that people can not speculate on, but I think it needs some closure somehow. And that's what I want to do,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense to me.